Hi, Cody. Hi, Jake. How are you?
Hey, doing well. How are you?
Doing
Hello.
well. Doing well. So we're basically kind of like backstage right now before we actually go to like the real side. Um, I don't know if you all want to just wait here until anybody else from Astrion joins.
I think it's just going to be Cody and I, but if you wouldn't mind, Cody, walk me through this. How did you get the background? I can't do that on mine.
Oh, yeah. Well, it depends. Do you have the Zoom thing downloaded, or did you log in during through the
I'm on the
web?
workplace. I don't think we have Zoom on these new ones, do we?
No, had to download it, download this picture from our website, and put it there while I was waiting in the lobby.
Can I? Oh, view. Here we go. Gallery views. Sort by hide self view. Oh, oops. I was wondering if I could
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're
at
saying.
least kind of blur out my background there.
Yeah,
I
there
don't have
should be.
anything too offensive there, but if I turn my chair by accident, it's you get that. We might do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
hit the
There's the
video,
blurry.
there's like an arrow beside video. If you hit that, and then you can just click on blur my background. Do you see it on the Zoom?
Sort okay, hold on down here.
Yep. And there's going to be like an arrow right beside where it says
There.
video. Yep.
Yep.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's right. Better. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
Cool.
So I was talking. I guess Simone. I guess you had the Toms on last week, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a little confusing. That was a couple weeks ago. So yeah, we had both Toms.
Yeah. I was talking to Kaminsky today because I was going to tell him. I was like, hey, I know this is predominantly Dayton and Gunner and San Antonio, but we're always looking for those pen testers and
Mhm.
offensive, defensive guys down there at Eglin. Throw a shout out for anybody who wants to move to the beach. We have slots down there.
Yeah, so basically this conversation is gonna be really easy, right? No tough questions. I sent them over to you all. So it's just a
Yeah.
conversation. And then pretty much the flow of it is like I'll introduce you all and not like a deep intro, but just introduce you all to everybody. And then at the end we'll do like a short Q&A as well. But like I said, it's gonna be pretty straightforward, pretty
Yeah.
simple. Yep.
Yeah. It looked and I saw the questions there. I was like, all right.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Quick
Do you want
question.
me to
Is
drop the
this
questions for you all, or do you have them?
I'm sorry.
Do you want the questions again or
No, I've got them. I'm looking right
okay,
now.
cool. All
Tony, you
right.
have
So
yours?
I'll just kick off the webinar and then we can start. So we already have 147 people in the room. So
Great.
we
Nice.
could just get started. Yeah.
Will this be posted somewhere or
Yeah, we can repost it.
I
So we
have an
can
11
repost
year
it.
old who now thinks his dad is cool because he's going to be on a podcast. So,
Oh yeah.
Hi, Simone. I'm here too. But yeah, and I think it's recorded at the end of the session, right?
okay,
Yeah.
great. Thanks a lot.
Hey, Deli.
Mm.
Okay, let me rename Clayton and then we can get started. Oops. All right. Okay. All right, so we'll get started. I'm gonna kick it off now.
All right.
Okay, how's everybody doing? Can everybody hear us loud and clear? Make sure everybody can hear us. If you can hear us, just say yes in the chat. Okay, how's everybody doing? Super excited to get into this live event tonight that we have with Astrion. So we have this time we have a hiring manager or recruiter, Cody Drake, and we also have Jake Bonabus, who's a project manager. So he's working with the Air Force on different programs. So yeah, would you all like to introduce yourself before we get into the questions tonight?
Sure, I'll go first. Uh, Thanks for the introduction. As you said, my name's Cody Drake. I sit here in the Dayton, Ohio region, right next to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. My official title is a talent acquisition lead for the Air Force Division. So hopefully I'll be able to answer the majority of the questions we go over today, and give you all the information we have about our cybersecurity roles here at Astrion. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Cody. I'm Jake Bontonobus. I'm one of the program directors for Astrion. I'm physically here in the Dayton region. I have folks in a few other states around the country, so we're going to do a little bit of that. I've been with Astrion here for about 9 years now, and I have been a card-carrying cybersecurity CISSP guy for about um, pushing 25 years or so now. So I have a really small number there on my card, on my cert. So been around for a bit, and really excited to share some of this with everyone here. Thanks a lot for coming.
Yeah, thanks for both of you all coming out tonight. So like I said, we have a lot of people in the room, so they're very excited. This is our second time hosting Astrion and talking about the company and the different roles that you are hiring for. So I know you are hiring for cleared cybersecurity roles primarily is what we're going to be focused on tonight. But Cody, since you're a recruiter, could you walk us through Astrion's hiring process for cybersecurity roles, just from like application to onboarding? I guess what are some things that you are looking for and some tips for them?
Yeah, certainly. So we like to move as quickly as we can throughout the process, and get people from application to hired as quickly as possible. So it starts with filling out that application on our website, and I'll drop the link for those who don't have it already. And then after that, it's reviewed immediately by a recruiter, either myself or one of the other 12 we have here at Astrion. From there, we will reach out, have a quick either an email chain, or I like to get a phone call going and just give the preliminary information, quick overview, and kind of play the middleman between the candidate and the hiring team. From there, I submit the information over to be reviewed, the resume and the notes and everything from the conversation, and the hiring team generally consists of the director, like at Jake's level, and then there's some program managers, and they like to, for the cybersecurity roles, not all of our hiring managers are cyber experts and come from that world like Jake, but so they will bring in some of their tech leads to make sure we have all that information. And we do most of our interviews virtually, unless sometimes we do them in person at one of our many offices across the country. But from there, after the interview, we all meet as a team, decide on a way forward. There are a few cyber roles that we have that have an additional step, such as our penetration testers down at Eglin Air Force Base. That is a very high demanding, high performing customer, and they do a lot of great work down there. So we have a ton of applicants. What we do then, in addition to the formal interview, we'll set them up with and I'm sure all the penetration testers in the chat will know this, that like a capture the flag type of simulation, just to see general skill sets. Doesn't necessarily need to result in a successful capturing of the flag, I guess you'd say, but it just allows the hiring team and the technical team to get a sense of the capabilities. And from there, we move forward with an offer package, and then we can start people from offer acceptance to onboarding as quick as a week, and get you set up on onboarding with your site lead and HR. And yeah, that pretty much kind of captures our hiring process.
Yeah, so it sounds pretty straightforward, not like 7 rounds of interviews or
Yes,
no crazy loop or anything like that.
we
So
try. We
that's
try to
that's
keep
what
it
I
as
love
simple as
about GovTech.
possible.
Yeah,
Mhm.
keep it pretty straightforward.
Yes.
So I guess this question I can ask it to both of you all. When it comes to the cybersecurity professionals that you are looking for, what type of certifications or skills are most in demand for the roles that you all are hiring for at Astrion?
Want me to take that one, Cody?
Yeah, go ahead, Jake.
All right. Yeah, so it depends on what the specific position is. There's different categories, and the government has some regs and some pretty strict standards on what cert is required for which position. Pen testers probably going to want a pen test cert, that kind of thing. For a very senior level cybersecurity person, you're going to need at least a CISSP. Now, some of them, you get in those principal level positions. Now they want some of those concentrations that you can get after you've got that. The entry level, I would warn pretty much the entry level, if you're trying to get in, if you're trying to get into a DoD contract, you're going to have at least a Security Plus. And I say that there's actually, if you go in the regs and you look, there's usually like 3 or 4 different ones they'll accept. I just gave you kind of the most common ones. And the list changes from place to place. Sometimes specific contracts have unique needs and skills, so they'll want something a little bit different on there. But generally speaking, that's kind of what you're going to need.
Yeah, and I was looking at all of our cybersecurity positions. Some of the more, entry level, like Jake said, will require that security plus, absolutely, and maintain that throughout. And the CISSP is a big one for us as well, especially when you get up towards the, maybe the ISSOs, ISSEs, some of the higher level positions.
Yeah, definitely. So they definitely vary from, range from like entry level type of cybersecurity certifications and more, professional, senior level type of cybersecurity certs. So I did see a
Yeah.
question in the chat. Are these roles, are they on site? Are they hybrid? Kind of like what's the type of working situation at Astrion right now for these type of roles?
Yeah. So the answer to that is really simply yes. So again, it depends on the contract and the location. So we have folks 5 days a week on site. We have a couple folks who we don't have enough room for them. They came back from COVID and realized, oh, we hired this many people. We don't have enough desks. So we have some people that are hybriding. Some people are fully remote. Not too many of those anymore. You start to see fewer and fewer of those. Some people have some legitimate personal needs where sometimes the government will work with them on those types of situations. And then I've got folks who work inside of a vault that's inside of another vault. So it kind of depends on where you're working and what you're working on. So.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, you see that more in the space now. It's like a lot of, especially depending on the clearance level, right? You're just going to have to go into office. So, definitely keep that in mind. So, so for our next question that we have here, for Cody, are there any opportunities for like entry level or early career cybersecurity professionals, or is Astrion primarily focused on like senior talent right now?
We do have some opportunities at all levels, but it certainly skews heavily towards the senior side. For instance, we just recently opened up a position, and I can't remember what location it's at. I think it may be at Lackland, but it's IT security server admin one. So entry level, for that position, you can apply with either a degree and 0 years of experience or a high school diploma and as little as 2 to 3 years of experience. And those positions are rare in the contracting world, but it's a great way to get your foot in the door. And then we have some of the mid-level or journeyman type roles, which may require a bachelor's and 3 to 5 years experience. And then I would say at least half or over half of our current roles here at Astrion, especially in the Air Force Division, are the more senior level. Looking for those folks who have done this for quite some time, 10 plus years experience, maybe even an advanced degree in certain scenarios.
Definitely. Yeah. So that's definitely good information for everybody in here because some people are at, trying to get started more entry level. And then so what advice do both of you all have for somebody who may be clearable, but maybe they don't have a clearance yet, but they aspire to work for Astrion one day? I know somebody in our community actually got hired by Astrion in Huntsville and they had sponsored the clearance. So, what advice do you have for them?
Yeah, on that, it's we will run a clearance. I will tell you it's it again, it depends on the position. It depends on the patients the customer may have. Okay, there's a little bit of that. But some of these, like you're more senior or you're more or the higher the classification level. So if I've got somebody who's got to work in one of these big vaults, they're working on a highly sensitive, highly classified material, probably not going to be able to get you in there because those clearances take a long time to run. But if it's not really a classified type program, but you do need a basic type of security clearance, we will sponsor that. Again, it does depend a little bit on the patients and things. And if the resume, if it looks right, I'll go to the customer and hat in hand a little bit there and say, hey, look, I think this is a win. But it's going to take a few extra weeks to get a clearance run on this person, and a lot of times they'll listen to me. I know a lot of our customers because again, like I said, very small certification number. I've been doing this a while, so I know a lot of the folks out there, and If I tell them, hey, this is the person you want, they'll work with us sometimes, not all the time, but they will definitely work for us. It's certainly not impossible. It's definitely easier though if you see something that looks like it's like a really classified type thing. Probably not going to be that one.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and I
So the
was
people
just
that already have the clearances, they should, oh, sorry about that, Cody. They should start applying for Astrion, right? To see the opportunities you all have because you're hiring right now.
absolutely, yeah, 50 plus cyber type roles throughout the country on several different contracts. Majority of them at Air Force bases, but some in our space sector, Army sector as well, kind of just all over. And I was speaking to one of our site leads the other day, kind of about this, about how high level cybersecurity people who just don't have the clearance get in, and he told me what how he got in and how the majority of people get in is starting off finding those get your foot in the door type jobs on base. A lot of times, for instance, here at Wright Pat, there's NASIC's a huge building program here. They're always looking for IT help desk type roles, and they will sponsor you and give you a like a secret security clearance to get your foot in the door. And it's since cleared cyber talent is in such high demand right now to where if you can find a position like that to get your foot in the door, get the clearance, you can rise rapidly throughout a
Yeah,
base on a company.
and I've probably driven Cody nuts over the years with this kind of thing. So just an idea what I'm looking for when I get those resumes. I love it when I see software developer, database administrator, network engineer, system administrator, things like that, because that's somebody that understands IT, okay, and really understands the nuts and bolts of it. They've done a lot of the configuration. They understand how a computer works inside and out, and that's what I really need. I can once you have that, then we'll take you, put you in. It might be an entry level position in the career field, but it's the career field is in such high demand. It's you probably still gonna make a few bucks. But we'll break you in there and we'll start teaching you the cyber side of the house and bring you up and progress your career through there. We have one of our folks was exactly that. He started out on the help desk, wanted to get in the cyber side, did what he had to do, moved up that field, moved over. We brought him into an entry level. He is now a principal level cybersecurity engineer for us. So it happens all the time. I prefer that, quite honestly, because anybody can read a book and take a test, but somebody who can do the job. And a lot of these positions, you're sitting there with the government program managers, and those folks are hanging on every word you say. They're really relying on what our team, the advice we're providing them, and where to go, what to do, the assistance. And you'll get some of these developers coming in, and it's anybody who's built a house knows what it's like, man. Some of these contractors come in and they'll cut every corner they can, right? So when they're in there and they're briefing something, it's great to have a cyber person who understands what they really mean by some of that stuff. Says, "Whoa, check, time out. We're not doing that. We're, well, this is going to take longer. Yeah, but we're not going to get hacked either. So we're going to do this anyway." So that's really important. And so get some actual IT experience under your belt. And like I said, databases, development work, code and, metal benders, whatever it takes. Those are great things that we get really excited about bringing on board that talent.
Yeah, that's literally what I recommend to people. I recommend that people start in help desk, right? Start in help desk, get a lot of experience, then move up from there. Because in that way you have the hands-on skills, and it's not just theory. It's not just, hey, I just took a cert. It's the certs and the hands-on skills that you get from moving up in the entry-level IT roles. So, Jake, so can you give us an overview of the cybersecurity work that's being done at the different, bases that you work at, and just kind of
Sure.
talk about how that is on the day to day?
Yeah. So we have, I have about 3 or 4 contracts I'm directly involved in or manage, whatever we want to call it these days. One of them is strictly IT applications. So our contract, we provide advisory assistance service to the government on all of the Air Force's major IT applications. So all your contracting systems, your maintenance systems, your supply systems, logistics, HR, you get where I'm going here, right? So our folks work embedded in the program offices with the government team, and they run you know, tailed ahead with the development efforts, the modernization efforts, the sustainment efforts, whatever those might be, and we do all of that certification work for them. So when the testing's done, we're the ones who capture all of that data. We'll package it up into some online tools and things like that we have. We'll do those risk assessments on them, and then we'll provide that once that's completed, reviewed, and approved. We'll provide that along with our recommendation up to the security control assessors and the approving officials. And with, hey, this is what it is. We feel this is safe enough to field. We like to go to production. Here you go. And so we put all those reports together. We do all that testing. Well, we don't do all the testing alone, right? So you have IVV and you have all those kinds of things that are going on. So, but we do code reviews. We have tools for that stuff. Database, we call them STIGs. We use there, which is technical implementation guides. So we make sure that, the implementer or the integrator is, building these things to security standards. So they do all that. That's one of our teams. And we have, I don't even know at this point how many of the folks we have working on those, probably 100, 150 throughout the contract on that. And those folks are in 3 different locations right now, as is. One of my other contracts is on the F-15 fighter jet. Everybody loves that stuff, right? So we want to make sure that we have that cyber resiliency for that weapons platform. So that's, some of that stuff's maybe a little bit more important. You have people's lives on the line, right? So those are the folks that we're going to involve, and they go out with the aircraft and test the software and things we're going to put on it and things like that. And again, they that's part of the airworthiness package they put together for those jets, and then the certification packages for those kinds of things. They work on that. I think that what Tom Kaminsky was probably on here talking about offense and defense. His folks get to do some really cool work down there in England, where they're going out on the flight line and testing. They're going out into the field and testing right there alongside the engineers and the developers and those folks. So we work hand in hand with the Boeings and Lockheed Martins of the world who are building these things, and helping them define the requirements, make sure this stuff's safe, make sure this stuff's encrypted, make sure we're using the right algorithms, et cetera, those kinds of things. So that's pretty cool there. A recent contract we just got that is very near and dear to my heart. I used to be one of these folks many moons ago, a lot of hair ago. It used to be, I used to have more, and I had dreams in my eyes and everything, right? So, but we have the Special Operations Forces contract, and again, we're right there with the government in the program management office, and all the equipment those guys carry out into the field with them, their comm equipment, their navigation equipment, all that stuff. We have to make sure that stuff is, working, ruggedized, all those kinds of things, and that it's, even fail safes and stuff like that. We're working on unmanned area vehicles, UAVs, UASs with them as well. So we have to do that and make sure, years ago, people probably heard the story. There was a man in the middle attack on one of those 3-letter agencies, and they landed one of our newest UAVs right there on the flight line in Tehran. They got it right in the middle of flight, and it was the fail safe is return home. Well, they got a man in the middle, and they changed where home was in the aircraft and landed right there. It was all over the news. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen again, right? Or those guys are about as up close and personal with the mission as it gets. So it's pretty important work. It's exciting. And the nice thing is the size of our company and the work we have done, particularly in the last 10 years, we've really kind of come on board. We've done a great job of bringing on talent, bringing on new folks, growing them internally, teaching them the right ways. And I think our reputation is pretty good. So the nice thing is, if you're doing this for a while and you're like, hey, Jake, it's great, but want to go try something else? I need to change the scenery. Like, yeah, let's see what we can do to make that happen. So we're not afraid to move people around, things like that, to keep them excited, keep them moving in their career, moving up or trying different things. We have a group down in Alabama. They are the actual security control assessors. So those folks, when you package up and send it up, those are the folks who are getting them and going through and making sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. So we have folks kind of all over there doing all those things. A lot of architecture work, depending on what position you're sitting on. So we do that. I'm trying to think, did I miss anything? I babbled on long enough, right? So
Yeah, that was a lot of good information about, just the type of work that you are doing at Astrion on the programs that you work on. So, like, what does a typical day look like for one of the cybersecurity professionals on your team? And like, what type of vulnerability scanner tools that you all are using? I guess some people they're curious about what type of tools you all use to see if they have the skill set that you're looking for.
oh, okay. So I would encourage people, don't worry too much about trying to find the skill set that fits into today's need exactly. Bring your skill sets to the table, and let's see if that makes sense, and we'll bring them forward. Um, so a typical day for our folks is pretty standard. It's 16-hour days. We now give them a water break for like 4 minutes. That's pretty cool benefit we just got. So no, it's they're pretty straightforward office type jobs for the most part. Like I said, some of the folks who have to go out in the field and test, that's once in a while. That's not your standard day though. On site or at home, it's your typical 7 to 4, 8 to 5 type of job. Uh, Tools and things we use. Man, I knew you asked me that question too fast. That's another one where it kind of depends where you're sitting.
Yeah.
Uh,
You
there's
use tools like
so many of them
Nessus.
that we use. I have in our business enterprise systems contract, for example, I have everything from mainframes. So if you want to brush off some of your COBOL stuff, if anybody's on here old enough to remember taking a COBOL course, I don't think they've taught them since '92. Um, but we have COBOL all into cloud type stuff. So the tools we use is really going to depend on where you work, but there's not a whole lot of tools we're not using somewhere, right? So I wouldn't. I will tell you from my perspective, I don't, as a hire manager, I don't put a lot of weight into saying, all right, this person has to have this tool. I need 5 years experience there. You have those broad experiences and you understand IT. I can teach a monkey how to use a tool. Okay. And we have training courses. We have all kinds of stuff internal. You'll come in and it's like any job out there. Your first 6 months, you're still learning the language and who's where and all those kinds of things. And everybody understands that. So don't get too wrapped around, the specific tool sets. Sorry, I think I
Yeah,
probably
no,
was
that's
a little
great
more
advice. That's
specific, but I don't mean to be generic on it. But I
yeah.
can tell you when I'm looking at the resumes, I just want to see IT. I'll take care of the rest. We'll get you the rest of the stuff if we need.
Okay, that's great to hear. That's definitely great to hear. So, I guess so. How do your teams collaborate with the Air Force and other contractors to achieve mission success?
That's all we do all day. We're sitting right there. Like I said, it's we have programs where the government, the program managers, they don't make a move without our folks signing off on it. So I know collaboration is a big industry buzzword today, and we all want to be collaborative and everything. And it's just repackaging the same thing we've done for years and years and years. And what you'll find is once you get on base, the culture is, contractors and civil service. There's some rules that separate what we're allowed to do, but between the different contracts and contractors, I haven't had any problems, with that. It's one team, one fight. I forget which general started that years ago. I was still on active duty back then, so I'll tell you how long ago it was. But that's always resonated with me. It's we're one big team. If you don't know how to work together and play nice, Astrion may not be the place for you. Okay, but yeah, we have to. It's every day. You're embedded with them, so it's not like, okay, once a week I'm going to have a meeting and I need to go through my, like clean up my P's and Q's act, for that meeting. It's not that. You're sitting right next to them every day. You're grabbing lunch together. So it's. Does that answer the question that you're kind of looking for?
Yeah, that answered the question. Yeah, that's typically the day to day when you're working at one of the government
Yeah.
contractor companies. So some people just might not be familiar with it, right? If they
Right.
haven't been in there yet. But so I guess like what are the biggest challenges that your team face in the cybersecurity space, and how is Astrion like addressing like the challenges that you might be facing in some of your programs? Maybe not like Astrion as a whole.
Budget cuts, Congress. I think we're all fighting that. I wrote a white paper about 7 years ago talking about, hey, we really need to modernize some of these mainframe applications we have. And, this is what I'm looking at in here. And at the time when I wrote the paper, I was like, folks, they haven't taught COBOL or Fortran in probably 25, 30 years, probably longer than 30 years, actually, now that I think about it. And we still have applications running on those mainframes written in that. The developers that we're going to need to help sustain that thing, they're not retiring, they're dying. Okay. Those folks are old. I've heard stories. If you guys want to brush up on some COBOL, I've heard developers out there getting, contract jobs, $300, $400, $500 an hour. And little fact for you here, it's not so much anymore since I wrote that paper, actually. But at the time I wrote that paper, believe it or not, most of our banking system was still being hosted on mainframes. And who do you think pays more, Congress or Chase? So who's getting the talent, right? So that's budget cuts are always the biggest thing. We're always trying to, take advantage of the next gen tools, or now AI is becoming real big, AI gen and whatnot. And can we leverage that to help speed up the process, be a little more accurate with the process, maybe be a little bit smarter in our processes, and can we do it with less? More with less is kind of the name of the game. That's always our biggest challenge. The upside, though, is every time one of these big corporations or one of these big companies gets hacked and ends up on the cover story of CNN, our lives are, there's more and more job security every day. So there's cuts here and there, but that's a big one. So time and budget, that's the biggest challenge we face.
Nice, nice. So you all are trying to use AI to become more efficient, right? So that's pretty much what I tell people in GovTech, using AI to process more data, do things
Yep,
faster, deliver faster for the customer.
absolutely. Yes.
So are there any career growth and training opportunities for team members who want to move into like roles with Astrion and maybe move up in the company or just in general? This
Yeah,
is for
Todd,
both
I'll
people.
let Cody. Why don't you start though with kind of the our training and tuition reimbursement, that kind of stuff, and then I'll jump in on the back end with some things I've done.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something we have an incredible talent management team here at Astrion. And with that, we have our internal website, Advanced University, that offers training, certification, prep, all type of this development to move up and gain those skills and tools to be able to be promoted throughout the company. And then all of our people leaders as well. There's a high focus on promoting the next level up, whether that be on contract when we get a new job opportunity on one of our contracts, say for a senior cybersecurity engineer. One of the first things we do is look at our current entry level and journeyman level engineers that are on the contract with our company. See who we can promote immediately within. If they have the tools, if they need to get more certifications, we have certification. Payback, I forget the reimbursement. That's the word I'm looking for. So you get the certification, we help reimburse that. Definitely promote that from within, and utilizing our talent management team, and we post every job that we have out internally as well for everybody to see in our talent navigator app that we have. So everybody is just one click away from seeing what opportunities are available to grow into and exactly how to do that and who to work with.
Find the mute. Yeah. So, and then on top of that, from Cody kind of talking from that enterprise, that corporate level, now you get down to, when I was at Tasley, I ran the cyber division there. When I was doing that at the more personal level, I'm going to come by and talk to somebody who's maybe been sitting in a slot for, a couple of years, a junior slot or a journeyman slot, and say, hey, how's your cert coming? You working on that? So you'll get a gentle nudge on that. Some people, this is the job. They love it. They don't want to move. Okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But I have personally brought in about a half a dozen different boot camps to get our folks certified, to get them that, whatever that next cert is they might need, or whatever that need is. We've worked on some internal online tools to help people get better, not just for the certs, for cert's sake, but I know that we do a lot of work with the pen testers, the offense and defense folks. We have some folks at Security Hill. Like Cody was saying, we have some opportunities to capture the flag. Right now, working with our innovation team group there to bring in some additional resources that I think we can do and do a lot of that stuff in-house. A lot of our folks who are more senior, they will teach them. They'll teach a course. We'll get, you've got the Teams or Zoom or whatever we'll use, and we'll have folks all over the country get on at night, and somebody can run a brown bag. Today we're going to talk about access controls. Today we're going to talk about, the OSI model, because believe it or not, we still have to know that. So all those kinds of things. So we do a lot of training. You can't not be continuously moving in this career field. If you're not, you're going to get run over. You're learning every day. You have to stay up. We have some of our folks have, they have their own little cyber chat groups, and you get on there. Somebody will read, did you see this article? Or, we had, if you're in the Dayton area, you're probably familiar with the Kettering hack that happened a little bit ago at Kettering Medical Center. I had some inside information on that. And so we were, a couple of us got called in to possibly consult on some of that stuff there. And so they know who we are in town, not just in here. We're in, we support, we'll reimburse people for professional associations. So whether it's your ISC square meetings, your groups, or your pen test groups, or whatever those might be. So we support a lot of that stuff. We do a lot of in-house training. We have a lot of tools. And if we don't have the tools, we'll go out and get it. So if it's a need, it's there, and it makes sense. It would be crazy not to have. Our goal is to have the best and brightest here.
Yeah, I saw a question about like the culture. So how's the culture at Astrion? Do you all enjoy working there?
Yeah, absolutely. I've worked at, this is my fourth Department of Defense type of company just here in the Dayton area. So quite familiar with the operations, and there's a lot of great companies here. Astrion stands out both for just doing things like we just talked about, promoting within, having great people leaders and stuff like that, and also just the flexibility that everyone here strives to do their best. That we don't need, constantly reminded everybody's here to do the job. We have great get-togethers. Jake leads a team himself. He'll, make sure everybody gets together, go to a ball game. We just had down in Alabama, the banana team or whatever, that baseball team everyone's obsessed with. Just took the team there to go see that. So in addition to work hard, there's always that work hard, play hard type of mentality here, all the way from CEO all the way down to the bottom. Definitely a great place to work here at Astrion.
Yeah. We just had a baseball game here. We did the Dragons game here a little while ago. But that aside, even the groups still get together. We have everything from fantasy football leagues. We've had our own step challenges. We do all kinds of stuff. As far as the company goes, I have a nice little coffee cup collection myself. I've been a contractor here in Dayton since right about 2000. I got out of the Air Force, and I've been with this company for 9 years, and that's the longest tenure I've ever had with any company. My goal is, when I bring on somebody here, that this is the last company you will ever work for. That's the goal. Don't work all the time. You can't get your feelings too hurt, because it's the community is smaller than you think. So, but we do our best to try and retain as many people as we can, and it's a pretty good company to work for. So, we're pretty flat, so it's easy to get to decision makers. When you have an idea, a lot of times you get in a lot of these bigger companies, and I've worked for very small and I've worked for very big. So I've kind of everything in the middle. We're a mid-tier company. That's kind of our sweet spot where we want to stay. Uh, you know, at these bigger companies, you're a number on a ledger. They can spout off all the we're family they want to. Okay, but at the end of the day, you are a number in a ledger. And here, we're big enough to have some purchasing power, but they still know your name. The CEO, I was on a random meeting last fall. The CEO invited me out to go watch the Ravens Bengals game right there on a Teams meeting. So you're not going to get that at Lockheed Martin or Boeing or Northrop Grumman, right? So those kinds of things happen all the time. He's coming into town. He does skip meetings, which I'm not allowed into. Our supervisors aren't allowed into. So you hire enough people. Let's be honest. There's going to be a dud or two in there. I'm sure Cody's accused me of that a few times, but it keeps everybody honest. But that's the kind of company we want. We want a lot of transparency. We want people to enjoy working here. We want people to enjoy being part of the company. So we do those kinds of things. We have a whole team that is working on what is the Ignite there, Cody, people engagement type stuff. They're working on that. We have an innovation group where they're working on some really cool AI type stuff. If you want to get involved, you're welcome to join in any of these groups. You don't have to be a big shot. Anybody can jump in and help out. You can learn. It's great. So a lot of opportunity, lots.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I mean, and people in the chat, they're like, I love Jake. I want to work for him. So they
He's
like you a
hiring.
lot, Jake.
Careful what you ask for.
So make sure you all submit your resumes, right? Look at the roles that Astrion has. Submit your resume if you are interested in working for them. And so I know another big question as well is like, how is the pay? Is it competitive at Astrion? You don't have to give out exact numbers, but they're just wondering about full total package at the
Oh
company.
yeah. We have we're Cody, we're like $1 and a half over minimum wage now, right? We're offering that's pretty solid, right?
Yeah.
No,
For the senior cyber folks.
Well, I have to apologize for my voice. I've just been getting over. I got like a summer cold, and it's driving me nuts. But no, our pay is competitive. There's not usually a lot of negotiating involved going on because when something comes in, like any of these contracts that you'll deal with, any of these companies, there's a certain limitation. We're limited to what the bill rate is on the contract. So that it is what it is. And once you've done this a little bit, people kind of understand that. And when they come in and, we'll ask you a salary range you're looking for. But oftentimes, I just sent a letter out literally yesterday to a guy that had $5K more than he asked for on it. Because I'm going to pay you a good salary. You got to put food on the table, right? You got a mortgage to pay. Maybe you want to go on vacation a couple times a year. I think people should be allowed to do that. And that's another one. Cody, should I do the plug for the FTO?
Yeah, always go for it. Yes.
All right. So a lot of companies, questions will ask, I start is, how much time off do you get a year? Our CEO, Dave Zalep, believes we should hire highly qualified, highly motivated, highly intelligent professionals, and then we should treat them that way as well. So we don't do PTO. You're not going to be stuck. I can't take that vacation because I haven't saved up enough yet. We don't do that. You need some time off, take some time off. It's that simple and it's that easy. We people worry about, well, can I take 4 months off at a time? If you're looking to take 4 months off at a time, you're probably not getting the job done. This maybe isn't the company for you. Okay. But we believe in treating them with some dignity and respect. And, you're an adult. You can make adult decisions, and I trust you to do that. We push a lot of decision making down to the lowest level we possibly can. So, like I said, we run pretty flat. I'm a director. I'm a program director, and on our org chart, there's not a lot of space between the CEO and me. Believe me, I'm not ready to be a CEO. but my point is that's how we operate, fast and nimble. So, Yeah. As far as salary goes, we're competitive with anybody. I've got some better bill rates on some contracts I have on the others, but you're not going to get lowballed. We'll get yelled at. We have this internal HR thing, and if I send it out, they're like, "Hey, Jake, that's not enough money," and based on our estimates, I'm like, "Well, your estimates are great, but my bill rate is this," So that's that's where we're at. So we do pretty well there. I would say we can compete with pretty much anybody out there.
And Cody, do you have anything on the pay or culture from like the recruiter standpoint on like what you see with, because I'm sure you hire a lot of people. So like, the people that you hire, do they enjoy working at Astrion as well?
Yeah, we get a lot of good feedback, and one direct, kind of proof of evidence for that for us is we have a great employee referral system too. So everybody who comes to work for us, we say, like, if you enjoy working for us, refer your friends and family, coworkers, and stuff like that. And we pay out bonuses there. We always have special bonuses. For instance, now we have specific contracts going on in which we want to staff it better than we currently are. We're having trouble finding some people in the Hanscom area, so we're offering all of our employees, you refer somebody that we hire, $3,000 bonus gets paid to you 30 days after they start. And there's no limit on how many you can do. It's fill the whole contract. We're all happy. So yeah, I get a lot of good feedback on that, and especially great benefits. You'll notice, especially for those of you who have worked in the Department of Defense, a lot of companies' benefits pay range, they're pretty similar across the board. But Astrion, I mean, we have a really good HR team here, and our chief human resource officer, Heather, she's always asking the whole team, how can we stand out? How can we be different? So we do a lot of, little campaigns and things here and there just to try to stand out above and beyond the rest of our competitors and partners amongst the Department of Defense.
Nice, nice. So, before we get into the Q&A, for people that are here and people that watch the recording, what type of action should they take immediately after this event to be able to stand out, in Astrion's talent pipeline?
That's a good question. One thing I will do here, I saw that reminds me, just dropping my LinkedIn and the chat there to everybody. So definitely connect with me. If you send your resume or a message to me, there are 340 some people on the chat today, but I promise I'll get back to you and we'll get that one-on-one time. If it's just
I'll let you
reviewing
here.
your
I'll
resume.
post Cody's personal cell phone. Do it in the middle of the night. That's the best time to catch him.
Absolutely. But yeah, connect with me, share that. Of course, the first step, apply for the position. Please reach out to me and share your resume. Tell me what you're interested to. I'll get you to talk to the right people. If it's under Jake's program and his stuff, I'll put you in contact with him. If I don't know the answer, I'll get you the answer. But connect with us there. Let's see, how else can we stand out? Other than just applying for the role, connecting with us directly, follow us on LinkedIn as well. Not just me and Jake individually, but Astrion as a whole. We post a lot about our campaigns, open opportunities, tips, tricks, job fairs, everything in between. So yeah, just see a bunch of the LinkedIn posts coming here now. Yeah, definitely connect back with everybody. Have that one-on-one time. We're very open and transparent as a company. So
yeah. Yeah, Cody kind of nailed it. Finish your degree. Those are great. Get your basic certs out of the way. You don't have to worry about getting 50 of them, but you get a couple there. That's good. If you want to, agile development processes, that's huge in the Air Force right now. So if you haven't worked on it, at least go out there. You can read up on it a little bit, get a little smart, learn the terms. That would be something really good for folks. And then, like I said, if you haven't, go work in the IT field for a while. I love those. I love database administrators. I love network engineers and architects. I love coders. Love turning those folks into cyber people because they know where all the back doors are. They know where all the holes are. You give me a combination of those three. I started out in IT. I actually changed out tape reels. So been around for a bit, but that's where I started. And I think that makes the best cyber professionals. If you're early enough in your degree path, you're trying to figure out which degree should I go get. I'm not going to specifically name names of any universities or whatever, but I will tell you, um, computer engineering and or computer science. I know there's a lot. You get a master's in cybersecurity, that's good. But I'm not a huge fan of this. Now they're getting bachelor's degrees in cybersecurity. That's like getting a bachelor's degrees in transmissions. You can't do that. You get a degree in automotive engineering, and then you work a few years and you specialize. That's what your high level certification paths are for, in my opinion. Now, a lot of other people don't have that same opinion. So, but what I see has elevated people. If you have those high career aspirations, those are the degrees that are going to get you there. If you're looking for those really high paying type positions, one of the requirements that will come along with a lot of them is having that ABET certified engineering degree. So if you have time, consider one of those two paths. I think those are still the best paths out there. There's something that will step out for me, stand out.
So I'm gonna ask some questions I've seen in the Q&A box. So somebody asked, with the advances of AI threats, how do you foresee roles and threats advancing? And then how does Astrion plan to staff up to speed for addressing new threats in the changing landscape to support the customer?
Great question. If you've got the answer, let me know. We have a whole team that's already doing AI work, and we have been for a few years now. Are we perfect at it? No, not yet, but we're getting there. So it's the biggest thing and the hardest challenge is staying out in front of this stuff. It's so hard that once upon a time the technology doubled like every 5 years. I think now it's doubling about every 15 minutes. So it's getting harder and harder. The biggest fear I have is quantum computing. That's going to be the toughest thing to stop, because those things are breaking the toughest algorithms in the world in 15 seconds, 10 seconds. So that's really going to be, I think that's going to be the next scariest area. And like I said, we have a whole team of PhD folks already working on the AI stuff. So we hired them.
Yeah, leave all the heavy math to the PhDs.
Let them do that. Yeah, we've got those guys. You just open up the door, throw pizza and a Mountain Dew in there once in a while, and
Yep. You let them be and just let them do their math thing.
Yeah, we'll let Sheldon do his job, right?
Yeah. So somebody also asked, does Astrion provide like relocation if let's say somebody's qualified and they're not in that area? Do you all do relocation for either most of the positions, all of them, or will it call it out on that actual job description?
So sometimes, yes, it's going to depend a little bit on the position. Look, if it's an entry level position, I'm probably not going to drop 10 grand to move somebody from California to Dayton, Ohio. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. An advanced physicist working on optics and next gen AI, and he needs to move from Alabama to Dayton, Ohio, and he wants to know if there's going to be some reload for him. Probably going to make some money available to reload that person. So, I'm sorry, the answer is not blanket across the board, but it depends. How high in demand is it? How few people can do that work? That type of thing.
Okay. Let's see. Do you all have any opportunities in the cloud security space?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were on one of our contracts. That was actually one of the times you had on here last week. One of his programs is stood up the cloud for the Air Force, the Cloud One. His team was the folks who actually did that and certified to this day. We have in my programs, we have a bunch of applications that are hosted in the cloud, few different, actually 3 different clouds. Check that, 4 different cloud environments. So yeah, we have security folks doing clouds. We love bringing those folks on. If you've got that experience, fill out a resume. We'll find a place for you.
All right. Great answer. I'm sure Astrion has a ton of different roles. So if anybody's wondering what type of roles they have, check their career website. They have everything on there. I've been dropping the link in the chat. And if you want to submit your resume as well, I've dropped that link in the chat too, and I'll email it out as well. So let's see. So this is a good question as well. So somebody had asked, do all of your roles, do they require you to have a bachelor's degree, or would experience and certifications cut it? How does that work?
Yeah, it differs in the job description. We do get pretty detailed in the job description as far as our substitution chart. So we are able to, and not all roles, some roles, especially with certain engineers, like Jake mentioned earlier, will require a specific ABET degree. But in some, you'll see in our job description, it'll say this job requires a bachelor's and 5 years of experience, or an associate's and 7, or high school diploma and 10 years of experience. So there's some flexibility there that Jake and the fellow directors have with our customers that pretty spelled out pretty simple in each job description when we have that flexibility.
Yeah, the government they'll define kind of a lot of the requirements that they want for those positions. And it doesn't come through in all of them, but some of them, I know the customer, right? We talk to them half the time. We help them build those requirements and define them. But I may know this specific position. You really need a master's degree for this slot because I know what they're working on and stuff like that. So it depends. It's position, but no, it is not mandatory across the board, at least.
Okay. And then we have a question that's more around kind of like, I guess, company culture and benefits and continued education. So does Astrion pay for employees to go to conferences? Like, do you all have a budget like that? I know a lot of the bigger contractors do like a budget to go and attend maybe 1 or 2 conferences a year.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The tuition and continuous education reimbursement. Absolutely.
Yeah, that falls under, you want to go get a master's degree, you want to go to a conference, you want to take a cert, it'll cover all those kinds of things. Now, look, I'm not going to pay for you to go get a degree in culinary arts, but but if it's anything career type related stuff, yeah, we'll cover that.
And this is a pretty specific question. Some people in here might have this same question as well. Is Astrion able to convert like Intel community clearances over to the DoD side? And they're wondering just because some contractors aren't able to either like convert it or transfer them over.
So I'll take that one, Cody. The short answer is sort of. First off, Astrion doesn't do that. You have to understand that that's the government. That's agency to agency. They define that. The Air Force will accept from some places. They won't from other places. So the answer is sort of. If you're coming from the Intel community, I will tell you by and large they will accept those. Yeah, without getting into any specifics, there's probably a few differences here and there, but generally speaking, they do. Yes. If you're coming from the FAA, that's going to be a little bit harder.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And then I guess there was a question as well about like what type of cloud technologies does Astrion focus on? Is it, I guess, AWS, Azure, when it comes to either just cloud roles in general, cloud security? Which ones do you recommend, or which cloud platforms you have for your team?
So we help the government decide which one they have. They did one a few years ago, and they called it Cloud One. And that, like I said, that was one of Tom's teams that did that. And what that is that's AWS and that's Azure. So depending on what your current application is or what your to-be application is going to be, how you want to host it, what its platform is going to run on, that'll decide kind of which one you go to. we have an ERP. They went out and they decided to go with an Oracle ERP solution. So they're originally going to do on-prem. They, after enough prodding from actually our folks, said, okay, let's put that in the cloud. And they went out and got a FedRAMP certified Oracle cloud. So mostly AWS Azure. Like I said, clouds get in for the big ERP solutions. They seem to be going to Oracle a lot, but and then we have some internal ones. This has a cloud thing type thing. So some of them are there, but though AWS and Azure are probably your two biggies.
Definitely. And then I guess is there anything else that you all would want them to leave with before we end up closing off tonight?
Yeah, like I said, make sure you fill out an app. So
Mhm.
we love to bring you guys on board. I'm excited about being here. Thanks a lot for hosting us. That's been great. Uh, yeah, get out there and keep plugging away. And thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you so
Hi,
much for having us.
hi, Simone.
Yes.
If I can jump in, I saw a lot of questions about military folks and those who are transitioning. Could we maybe answer that one question, please?
Oh, yeah, I want to jump all over that. Can
Yeah.
somebody go ahead and just clarify what the question was a little bit better for me?
I think the question that I think I saw a lot of like if you're a veteran, like or if you're military, do you all work and have any like programs, maybe Skill Bridge or something like that? What type of opportunities you have for vets and soon to be vets to work at Astrion?
I would tell you that well over 50% of my team is a vet. I'm one. Um, Absolutely. And you can put that right on your resume if you're just getting out. The upside, I'm trying to think. Cody, do we have any directors at my level that aren't vets?
I'm trying to think, and every
I
single
think I'm the only
one.
one who's not retired.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did 12 years. I was a quitter.
yeah. I'm curious if we're gonna have to talk with to try to get that stat. Well over half the company are veterans with a high focus on
Yeah.
hiring our men and
So,
women.
so when you're putting your submission in, believe me, literally, I think I'm the old Tom Parks retired, Mike Lindhorst retired, Mike Lever retired, Kaminsky's retired. I think I'm the only one. Sloat's retired.
Mm-hmm.
Iggy's retired. I think I'm the only one who's not actually retired. So believe me, submit your resume. We know how to translate from military to us. Yeah, definitely put that in. Love to hire those folks. Absolutely.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much for answering all these questions. GovTechCon community is definitely happy to have Astrion to come out. Make sure you all connect with Cody on LinkedIn. Make sure you all connect with Astrion on LinkedIn and then also submit your resumes. So we'll be emailing those links out again and I'll drop the link in the chat again. So if you just click on that Notion link or go directly to Astrion's career site, you'll see all of the links. We appreciate you all so much for coming out and sharing these opportunities with our community. And yeah, we'll see you all next time. We have one last hiring event or virtual event with Astrion where we're going to have somebody from the community that actually got a job with Astrion. So that should be pretty good. So that's going to be coming up in a few weeks.
All right. That sounds great.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you all so much.
Hey,
Have a
thanks a
good
lot. This
night.
is great.
Bye,
Appreciate it.
everyone.
Have a good one.
Thanks.